What's going on, guys? My name is CJ Wolf, and this is Dark Souls 3. So this is my first upload, and I wanted to, kind of introduce myself. 20 years old. I've been playing Souls since Demon Souls, and I played all of them, played all the PvP, and got to experience what it was like. And I mean, honestly, out of all of them, Dark Souls 3 feels like a mix of all of them, I guess you could say. But what I wanted to talk about in this video is how an invader's life is it's so difficult in this game, and it's like that for a couple of reasons. And pretty much the first big thing that stands out is the numbers game, because 99% of the time when you invade in this game, you're gonna face off against the host with at least one phantom, sometimes more. I mean, it's rare, it's honestly rare to find a lone host in this game, because I think the way the mechanics work is that invaders have a preference, I guess. Like, it invades people who have phantoms in preference of people who are by themselves, yeah. So the numbers game is pretty difficult to deal with sometimes, because you could be by yourself, right? And you'll face off against a host with up to 3 phantoms, and then to top it off, you'll get invaded, well, not invaded, but a Blade of the Dark Moon will be summoned. So then you gotta deal with 1 versus 5 odds, and it's really tough. It's really tough. And that's not including purples, because purples, they're like wild cards, and they can pretty much kill whoever they want. Sometimes they'll decide to help you. Sometimes, they'll they'll decide they want to be in a winning team and just go after you. Because I think the purples, all you have to do is kill 1 phantom, and that's like your mission or something like that. I'm not sure. I haven't really delved too deep into that covenant. But yeah, the numbers game is tough. Like, since I've been playing this game, the best odds I've had is 4 versus 5, and that's because it was I had a watchdog, a Farron, helping me out because I was invading in the forest. So it was like me, another red, a purple, and then one of those watchdogs. But I mean, honestly, like, even with that, it's a very situational kind of thing, because the watchdogs, they can only invade in the forest. So, like, for example, here in Lothric Castle, like, the best odds you probably get is like 3 versus 5 or something like that. So the numbers game is pretty ridiculous. And honestly, like, the Blades of the Dark Moon, like, they're there to kill invaders. They're there to keep the host protected and all of that. But I guess it's because of the mechanics that it just seems really, like, overwhelming sometimes. Because, in Dark Souls 1, the Blades of the Dark Moon were still there, but, like, honestly, I didn't really deal with them that much. Like, they didn't really invade me that much. And when they did, a lot of times I was by myself and I was hosting, so then they invaded me. But, I don't know. It all depends, So the second thing that pretty much stands out to me in this game is the fact that as an invader, you have half the Estus and your health is reduced. And it was like that in Demon Souls with the reduced health, But in Demon Souls, you had that Foes Ring to kind of like help, mitigate the difference. And see, this one was crap. I got killed for spamming. But yeah, so basically in Demon Souls, for those of you who don't know, you had that Foes Ring, which basically gives you like I think it's a 30% boost, but I'm not exactly sure. It might be less, maybe a little more. But yeah, for example, let's say you both had the same amount of health, and you just kept trading, you would end up winning because you had that Foes Ring. But there's nothing really like that here. Like, the best alternative, I guess you could say, is the Hornet Ring, And that Hornet Ring, like, I don't know. I feel cheap sometimes for using it, but I have to, I have to, like, I need something to help me out. I need something to, help me turn the odds in my favor. But yeah, so I think the Foes Ring would definitely help out, but we don't really have that. We have reduced health, and then we have half the Estus that the host has. And I mean, honestly, like, I don't really see why. Like, for example, you have the host and his buddies, and they all have, a lot of Estus, especially the host. I think the Phantoms have half Estus also, but not really sure. I haven't really done too much co-op. But either way, you know, the numbers are in their favor, and then the host has a lot of Estus, so I think you should be given a little more Estus. Like, I'm not saying, you know, you have to have max Estus just like the host, but I think the max Estus of the host -3. That's what your Estus should be. I think half is a little bit of an unfair advantage for the Invader. And I mean, I guess I knew what FromSoft was going for. Like, I guess they were trying to make sure that, you know, the veteran players didn't go around killing all the the poor hosts of the world. But I mean, like, especially at the higher levels, like, it's difficult, you know, because you faced off against people with like weapons that do a lot of damage. So when you have 3 guys with weapons that do a lot of damage, it's tough to overcome those odds sometimes. But yeah, so I think your Estus the host Estus -3 should be how many you have. So maybe it's pretty much, if the host has 10 Estus, I think you should have 7. I think that's fair, you know. But I don't think it's fair that the host has like 15 Estus and you have 7, because it rounds down for you. So instead of getting, you know, 8, you get 7. But even 8 would still be kind of ridiculous. But yeah. So what else did I want to talk about? Another thing that's pretty ridiculous, and then just kind of adds on to everything, is that Seed of a Giants, and I really hate that item. I think that item, like, the way it's used right now, is just, it's not used properly, I guess you could say. And the reason why I say that is because basically, for those of you that don't know, what the Seed of the Giants does, it makes all the enemies of the world attack you. And I wouldn't have a problem with that if you weren't already facing these odds, you know. So you're already facing like 2 versus 5, 1 versus 4, you know, odds like that, and then your health is reduced, and you have half the Estus that the host has. And then to top it off, like, basically what the Seed of the Giant does is it takes the Invader's greatest asset or tool, and, you know, pretty much turns it against them. Because, you know, if you look at a lot of videos that kind of like give you tips on how to randomly, on how to do random invasions, they'll always say, like, you know, use the enemies, use the environment. But with that Seed of the Giants, you can't, because the enemies go after you, you know. And I mean, it does prefer the host. So, like, let's say you guys are right next to each other. I think the enemies usually have a preference for attacking the host, but a lot of the times, like, it won't really matter, because, like, you'll get summoned to a world, right? And if that Seed of a Giant is on, then you'll as you're running around looking for the host, you're gonna get hit you're gonna get hit a lot of the times, and then the host sees where you're at, and you're already down on Estus and health. So I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous. Like, I think the way the item should be used right now is it should be reserved for lone hosts, you know, because you can summon all your buddies and have like 4 dudes and then use it in the, like, while your phantoms are summoned. And I don't really think that's fair, because there's been so many times where, like, you know, I'm invading and then out of nowhere the enemies start attacking me when I'm running away and trying to, like, regroup myself. So I think the way the item should work is that if you're by yourself, you can use it, and if you happen to summon phantoms, then it stops working. Like, I'm not saying either action should be prohibited, but I think once you summon a phantom, I think that's when the item should just stop working, or you can't use it anymore, or something like that. I think that would be a little bit more fair, because, you know, if the whole point is to help the host out, hopefully you don't kill them as much, like, you should have one or the other, like the Seed of the Giants or phantoms. But I mean, that's just my opinion, you know. Like, in the end, it is what it is, and I don't see FromSoft changing that for the random invaders, but we'll see. Because I mean, it gets like overkill, seriously. Like, there's times where you just face off against so many phantoms, and they're, you know, you face off against so many phantoms, and then to top it off, you have to face off the enemies of the world. So it's like, what do you have going for you? Like, pretty much, they always have everything that you have and more. You know, they always have more health, more Estus. They can use the same ring, so, like, they can use the Hornet ring, and you pretty much have nothing going for you. Like, you pretty much have nothing going for you. But I mean, that's what makes it more satisfying. That's what makes winning these random invasions a lot more satisfying, is that you know the odds are stacked against you, and you know you still manage to win. And I mean, it's fun, you know, it gets crazy, it gets hectic, especially in the forest. Like that one time that I had a 4 versus 5, it was crazy. There was just, you know, dudes everywhere. There was shooting firebombs and magic, and it was definitely fun. It was definitely fun. That's why I keep doing random invasions. So as far as random invasions go, there are 4 main areas where I invade, and that's the forest, which is, you know, right here. I also invade the I think it's like pronounced Irithel, the Irithel dungeon, the one where you fight Pontiff Sullivan. Not that area, because that's like the PvP area, like the dueling area, but just before his boss fog, like that kind of area. There's the Grand Archives. I love invading there. And then the last one is the Lothric Castle. I think that's the other place where I get a lot of random invasions. I wish like there was more areas that I would get a lot of action in, but I don't know, for some reason I don't seem to get any. Like, I want to invade in the Irithel dungeon, but I never seem to find anyone there. But I don't know, maybe you guys have better luck than me. But yeah, those are the random invasion hotspots. But alright. So, continuing on with my discussion of why random invasions are so difficult, is the cherry on top of everything is they brought back the second chance miracle. And you know, for those of you that don't know, in Demon Souls there was a miracle called Second Chance. I'm not sure if it's called that in this game, but in Demon Souls it was called Second Chance. And basically what it would do is, like, if you would get one shot, or if you would get killed or whatever, it brings you back with like half your health. And I'm not sure exactly how it functioned in this one, like if it brings you back with half health or 30% or whatever it is, but I know for sure it like gives you another chance of living. Like, because there's been times where I think the person's dead and I see their health like deplete, and then out of nowhere you see this little like yellow aura ball. I'm not sure what the animation is, and then they're just alive. And I actually have some footage of that. I'm like, damn, you know, because yeah, as if things weren't hard enough, you know, imagine facing off against like 4 dudes with second chance. I mean, luckily that hasn't happened to me, but it's a definite possibility. It's a definite possibility, and I mean, I don't have a problem with second chance, I guess, but like in Demon Souls, it was pretty obvious when they had that miracle. They had that like blue aura, I think it was, and in this game, I think they have like a yellow aura attached to their chest. It's like a yellow ball, but I'm not exactly sure yet. I'd have to pay a little bit more attention to figure it out. But I mean, you know, if you're gonna invest points in your faith or whatever, then you know, you should be allowed to use your miracles and all that. But alright. So I guess the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about, or that I can think about, is the how running is like super effective in this game. Like, I hate to use Pokemon terms, but it is. It's like super effective in this game, because there'll be so many times where, you know, you have a host and his phantom, and you manage to kill the phantom, and then what does the host do? He like runs straight for the bonfire, runs around in a damn circle. So we're playing Ring Around the Rosie until he gets another buddy out, and you can only kill the damn phantom so long until you just die, because it's like a war of attrition. I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, you keep getting hit, and yeah, you get one Estus when you kill the phantom, but a lot of the times it's not enough. Like, by the time you're done killing the phantom, you're at a deficit. I mean, unless the person's just like really bad, but usually you're at a deficit. And yeah, running is pretty ridiculous. Like, you can try and chase. Like, the reason why I use this katana is because it's pretty good at chasing people when they're like rolling away or running away. But sometimes you get punished for that. Like, you get parried, because pretty much that you just like running around doing running attacks, and you just get parried and die. And yeah, it's a sad life. I mean, you could say, oh, you know, don't be so predictable, but it's tough when, like, you gotta run. You have to run after the host, because otherwise he's gonna heal or summon a phantom or whatever, you know? Like, look at this dude. I've taken off like 2,800 health, And I think by the time I kill him, I take off like 3,500 or... Actually, I don't kill him. I think he kills me. But by the time this fight's over, I think I take off like 4 grand in health or something like that. And that just shows you that I pretty much depleted his health like 3 times. And like he just didn't die, you know? Because running it's pretty good. It's like really it's a good tactic, you know. And it doesn't really favor you because when you try to run, the host and his buddies, they hit you like 2 or 3 times. So whatever health you healed is pretty much gone. And sometimes you're even at a deficit. Like you even lose more health than you healed. While on the other hand, the host, whenever he runs, he always has like people shielding him, people blocking your way, you know, so you can't just run after the host and, you know, try and finish him off. It doesn't really work out that way most of the time. So running definitely helps. I mean, not helps, sorry. Running definitely favors the host. And not you. Spamming R1s. Yeah, I think that's another thing I'm going to need to talk about in another video is R1 spam and kind of like what it's doing to this game. But yeah. So just to summarize what we've talked about so far, it's really difficult being an invader because the numbers game is like never in your favor. I mean, there's those rare instances where you'll somehow get a lone host and he gets invaded by you and somebody else, and sometimes in those situations I feel kind of bad because I don't really like ganking, but you know, I'm an invader, so I gotta kill the host. So the numbers are pretty much never in your favor, and then there's you have half Estus and reduced health, so it doesn't really do you any favors either because the host has like double your Estus and more health to begin with, so it doesn't really work out for you. Pretty much the Seed of the Giants just kind of exacerbates things because it turns your best tool against you, and now you pretty much have to contend with everything. You have to contend with the health deficits, you have to contend with the numbers game, and then you even have to deal with like the regular enemies of the world. And some of these enemies are tough, man. Like, I don't know what new game these dudes are on, but some of these enemies, damn. I got that parry, but I died. Damn. But yeah, so some of these enemies, they're pretty tough. Like, I guess they're like a new game +5 or something, and they hit hard, and not only do they hit hard, but you know, they have a lot of health. And then the final thing is that running is super effective in this game, and it's way favorable for the host and his phantom to run and, you know, go off and heal than it is for you, because when you run, you're gonna get hit like 2-3 times or whatever, and then when the host runs, he pretty much always has someone watching his back, and he has somebody to protect him while he goes heal. And see, this is what I mean. Like, look, this dude's running, we kill his phantom, and he's running to the bonfire, and he's just going 100 miles per hour, and he gets to the bonfire, and literally we're playing Ring Around the Rosie. We're just, you know, running in circles, trying to get this dude, but it doesn't work out. And like, see, like, look at that, look at that. We get so close, and we just can't finish him off. But yeah, running is like way more favorable for hosts, and this invasion pretty much shows an example of exactly what I mean. How like the Estus favors him, the running favors him. Like pretty much you have like nothing going on in your favor. Because I think I end up losing. I think he ends up like parrying me or something. But it's like, what can I do? You know, if we just play passively, his phantom's just gonna come, and he can keep summoning the phantom, and we're eventually gonna run out of health and then just die. You know. But if we attack, on the other hand, we put ourselves open for like parries or, you know, counter attacks or whatever, you know. And I mean, it's easy to say, oh, you know, just don't be so predictable, but I don't know, maybe I'm just not that good. Like, I think it's coming up where I lose, I get parried or something, and it hurts my soul. I hate getting parried, especially because I don't feel like he really outplayed me. But the parry looked like a reaction parry, and that's, I guess, one thing that I'm having trouble understanding right now is when you can react, like when you can parry on reaction and when it has to be a prediction. But yeah, so this is the last fight, and I think it's almost over, and I pretty much talked about everything I have to talk about. Yeah, see? Yeah. But alright guys, I'll see you in the next one.